happening, people? It's your girl Mina. Welcome back to the channel. You already know what it is. Big up to everyone locked in on this wonderful Monday afternoon, the day after a trip to Anfield. And I think we got a lot of positives to talk about. I hope you lot are all doing well. Big up to everyone locked in. Let me know how you lot are doing today, how you lot feeling after yesterday's game. It's funny because I'm seeing people saying, oh, United fans celebrating like they won. United could have won, if we're being honest. I really feel like Liverpool look like a shadow of themselves of what we've seen over the last couple of months in the Premier League. I don't know what it is. Everybody went into the game feeling pessimistic, wanting the game to get cancelled because of the snow. I never understood that. I was like, come on, guys. Come on. People accepted defeat before the game even arrived. I don't know, man. It was very unusual. Big up to everyone locked in. Listen, guys, we hit 10K. We hit 10K. This week, I've had a hell of a weekend. So sorry for not streaming on Saturday and Sunday. But yesterday, just after the game, I think we hit 10K. And now, I guess next is the road to 20K. 20K was my goal for the year. So starting the year already hitting 10K, that's wonderful. That's amazing. So big up to everyone that's locked in. If you're new here, welcome to the community. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel, clearly the ever growing channel. If you want to support the channel in alternative ways, you can by sending in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or just to show some love. You can do that as well, and that goes a long way. We got so much to talk about, guys. We got Anfield to talk about, but we also got transfer news to talk about, because it seems like transfer news is picking up for Manchester United. For so long, we were just hooked on the Nuno Mendes talk, the Osan talk. That's it. But now a new name has come up in the picture, and that is Dusan Vlahovic. I don't know how I feel about that one, but we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Joshua Zirkzee being linked to a move, back to the Italian league, and potentially what that can mean for Manchester United. So like I said, guys, be sure to hit the like button if you've just come through, and be sure to subscribe as well if you're new here. Let's start with some positive news. Let's start with some good news, some news that I'm sure a lot of people are waiting to hear. Manchester United are edging closer to agree a deal with Amad Diallo. Manchester United are prepared to seal the deal. This is coming straight from Fabrizio Romano. Manchester United are expected to seal the deal with Amad for a new contract. Final details being sorted. It's a long-term deal. Now, I don't know how long-term, but I think it will probably be, a 4-year deal. I'm trying, maybe 3 + 1, 4 + 1. I don't know. If it's a long-term deal, anything more than 2-3 years, that's to me long term. So it could be a 3 + 1, it could be a 4 + 1. Hopefully it's a 4 + 1, which means it will see him out at least until he's the age of like 27. So that's some positive news. They're not picking up the 1-year option that they have on his contract, because they're agreeing a deal. And it's always Manchester United. It was always going to be Manchester United. So that is some positive. I know it's not a new signing, but at least Manchester United are able to kind of get this deal over the line, because it's a conversation that has been up there for the last couple of months, especially at the beginning of the season when he was kind of inconsistently in Erik ten Hag's lineup or starting lineup. So it's nice to see that they've agreed a salary improvement as well. I think he's one of the lowest earners at Manchester United in the first team right now. I think only Toby Collier and Harry Amas earn less than him. So that's also positive as well. But hopefully this is something that shows to Amad the club's commitment to him, to being part of, hopefully, a team that's going to go on to win stuff. Still a long way to go in terms of assembling the team that's going to win stuff. But Amad Diallo, a new contract, that's a good starting point. I think also, just on the topic of how long his contract might be, I remember when Dallo got an extension in 2023, and he got a extension until 2028, which was a 4 + 1. So I think it could be around the same thing, but we'll see. We'll wait to see all the details. We'll definitely wait to see all the details. Some other news, it's not really a lot of news, guys, just on Victor Osimhen quickly, but it's reported by Fabrizio. It is possible, highly possible, very possible, that Victor Osimhen moves clubs this month. Manchester United are one team that are interested in him, so that's also one thing to keep an eye on. And another move potentially for a Manchester United player is Antony. Multiple clubs, including from Spain and Greece. I'm sorry, bro. If Antony ends up in Greece, guys, That says a lot about Manchester United's recruitment. But anyways, a number of clubs from Spain and Greece have made contact with Manchester United over a loan for Anthony. United are willing to consider all offers for this player. This is coming from Dharmesh at Sky Sports. I spoke about Anthony very briefly in a video that I did about Man United's January transfer window. And basically what I said was, what did I say? I said, basically, if you let Anthony go, please have the intention to bring another player in. Not because Anthony is an immense talent that needs to be replaced, but Manchester United need numbers in the squad. It's as simple as that. And I feel like it would be negligent if they let Zirkzee go and they didn't bring in a striker. And also I feel like it would be negligent if they let Anthony go out and on loan in particular and potentially not bring in another player. Now, the most difficult thing for Manchester United in the January transfer window, in my opinion, when it comes to offloading some players, is probably their salaries. I think, we're going to get to the conversation of Marcus Rashford in a bit, but just quickly on Anthony, he's on 200,000 a week. That is not going to be an easy salary to shift, especially to teams like teams based in Greece or Spain or wherever this interest for him is coming from. Hopefully Manchester United will find a destination for him that he will get regular playing time, because you look at players that have gone on loan from Man United's first team in the last couple of seasons, they've not really gone on to have successful loan spells. I'm talking about Donny van der Beek rotting away on Everton's bench, etc., before Manchester United eventually sold him. So if they're going to sell Anthony, sell him with the intention to send him to a team, loan him, sorry. If they're going to loan Anthony, loan him with the intention to get him as much playing time. So maybe in the summer transfer window, they will be able to sell him for a slightly higher fee. Now, I don't know what the standard going rate is for a player like Anthony, but I'd be shocked if United got anything more than 30 million. Because Manchester United themselves overpaid. I remember reading an article with The Athletic that said that Man United, the season before they signed Anthony, they actually scouted him and they valued him at about 25 million euros. So then they went on to pay 100 million. So even they themselves didn't value him at the price that they actually paid for him. They ended up paying a very, very high premium. So I definitely hope that if they are able to sell him 30 million, no one's paying that. We'll sell him for around 4 to 7. There's no way United selling for 4 to 7 million when I've seen players who have had not 1 minute of academy football at Manchester City go for 20 million. Like, we need to stop selling ourselves short. I feel like as Manchester United fans, we get it. Man United, the players might not be of the highest talents. They might not have had the greatest of periods at Manchester United during their career. But Man United need to learn how to sell their players. If I'm being very brutally honest, in this economy right now, in the football world, guys, the average going price for players are 20-ish million. Like that is normally the starting fee. I never see players, I'm sure they exist, but I rarely see players going for anything less than 10 million, firstly, except for Man United players. I never see players going less for 20 million unless it's Man United players. Man United, similar to what Chelsea did when Todd Bowley took over, and they just did they just got rid of a bunch of people and just sold them to wherever they could for reasonable fee. They need to do the same with Anthony. I think up to 30 million is reasonable. I definitely think that's reasonable. But let's talk about the hottest conversation right now. The hottest conversation right now. This is coming from Alex Crook. Sorry, not Crook. Alex Crook at TalkSport, suggesting that Juventus have offered Dusan Vlahovic to Manchester United as part of a deal for Joshua Zirkzee. Now, it was also reported by Fabrizio Romano that Juventus were pushing to sign Joshua Zirkzee. Contacts started with the players' side weeks ago, and Manchester United are not accepting a straight loan. That's from Fabrizio Romano. So if Man United are not accepting a straight loan, it's very obvious that they are probably looking to sell him. Now, I don't know if you lot saw what the manager said about him yesterday, but it just, to me, that didn't really sound like the ultimate kind of public backing that you'd want. He said the right stuff, but it definitely wasn't for me the most, clear as day kind of backing from a manager. Now, I've seen people suggesting that if Joshua Zirkzee leaves in January on a permanent deal, that he's going to be the worst signing that Manchester United have ever made. Joshua Zirkzee's price, in my opinion, at Manchester United has not depreciated over the last 6 months. Man United paid 35 million for him. I think they could still get 35 million for him. I don't think it's depreciated because I also don't think he's played enough to either drive his price up or drive his price down. Now, this is the interesting part of the swap deal, because I'm not the biggest fan of Dusan Vlahovic. I like Dusan Vlahovic, but I don't think he's a United type of striker. And this is a player, by the way, that Juve and Thiago Motta have been trying to offload. In the summer, I remember he was linked to a move. I think I was quite shocked that he didn't actually. I think he was even linked to Arsenal quite a bit during the summer. In terms of salary, by the way, he earns about nearly double and a half more than what Joshua. He's the high. I think he's actually the highest earner in the Italian league. I think it's about just under 300k that he earns at Juventus. Now, I understand why probably Joshua Zirkzee wants to go back. Like, I kind of get it. Like, going back to the Italian league is his comfort zone. It's something. It's a place that he's familiar with, that he excelled at when he was there. But I'm just a part of me feels very unfortunate. I feel very not unfortunate. I feel very, what's the word? Sad. Not sad. But I really wanted like this Joshua Zirkzee signing to work out. Like I think there's a player in him. I actually think he's a very decent player. People are talking about yesterday the pass that he made to Maguire and the fact that, you know, he's a striker. Why didn't he shoot? The guy is low on confidence. If he shot and he skied it, people would have ripped into him. So he did what he thought would have been the right choice. And also I do think that the kind of angle that he was going to shoot from, there was a player coming in, so it might have got blocked. I'm not mad about the pass that he made, personally. I'm not mad about it. I think it was an uncomfortable pass because it was bobbing already before he even got to Maguire. But it's a player that's low on confidence that just, you know, less than a week ago got cheered off in the 30th minute of a game. I understand why he did that, but it's very unfortunate for me if this doesn't work out. And it's likely to be the case. Because I always said, like, I'm sure you lot are sick of hearing me saying it, Joshua Zirkzee is not your traditional number 9. And, you know, when you have a player like this, you need to have all your other pieces in your team before you kind of bring in a player like Joshua Zirkzee. You know, because you can't convince me a guy that was young player of the season in the Italian league, was team of the season in the Italian league, is suddenly crap. Like, I can't fathom that idea that within 5-6 months of being in England, he's just suddenly become crap, personally. But I do understand that, you know, bringing him in when United still had a lot of gaping holes in their team, not just in the starting 11, but, you know, whether they were going to keep the manager or not, as well as, you know, the squad, the depth of the squad. Bringing in a player like Joshua Zirkzee might not have been the best kind of decision to make, not this summer anyway, but it also might have been one of them situations, I think, where if they didn't get him this summer, he probably wouldn't have been available in the following summer. Now, yesterday's cameo from him, I think, was an okay cameo. I mean, I didn't expect him to come on. I thought the game was going to end in a draw. I was quite comfortable, like, knowing that it was probably going to end in a draw. But I don't look at any of our strikers right now and feel like they're a finished project. That's why I feel like me turning my nose up at the idea of United signing Vlahovic is blasphemous, low-key a little bit. Big up to Riri with the super chat. Big up Riri says, yes, we hit 10k onto the next. The community building nicely. Congratulations, man. I keep pushing. Big up, sis. I appreciate it, man. Love for the super chat. Much love. I hope you're doing well. Hey, Mina, I think it's best that we keep Joshua because the other one coming plays like Rasmus, and at the moment, United needs more of good feeders and a clinical striker. I definitely think Vlahovic is way better than Rasmus Højlund. Like, that is not. I don't think that's a question. Yesterday, I watched Rasmus Højlund, and I just sometimes I want to know what goes on in his head, in his brain, when he makes certain decisions, or, you know, his runs or his channel runs are really bad, especially when I feel like the ball is in the wide channels. When he should go front post, he goes back post. When he should go back post, he goes front post. He can't make the right decision. And I realized it. Well, I realized it months ago, but it also came to attention to me yesterday as well. Now, one thing I know for certain is Manchester United need a striker. That is an absolute, like, that's no doubt. But I think the idea that Højlund cannot, I think Højlund could be a good option, a bench option. I don't think he's a starter, but like I say all the time, Man United failed Rasmus Højlund when they brought him in with no one to learn from, no striker to learn from. The only thing that he had to do was work with Benny McCarthy, who was the striker coach at the time. He had no other number 9 that could take him under his wing. And I feel like at the age 19, 20, he was, I think, when we brought him, you're bringing him in with number 11 and you're giving him number 11. That's a lot of weight that you're putting on his shoulders. Does Vlahovic get me 25 more goals? I think he's got like 13 in the league right now. Let me double check how much he's got in the league so far this season. Did I make it up? I made it up. He ain't got 13 goals. He got 7. He's got 7 goals in the league so far in 16 appearances. He's got 12 in all competitions in 23. I mean, if he came to Manchester United, he would absolutely be there. But based on that number, he'd be their top goal scorer regardless. He's got 4 goals in the Champions League as well. 1 against City, 1 against Lille, and 2 against Leipzig. He scored a goal against Inter. He scored quite a few doubles in the season as well, but he's also missed a few games due to a muscle injury. Now, one thing I will say is that right now, Man United need to make the best decision when it comes to signing a player, if they're going to sign a player. Like, genuinely speaking, Manchester United cannot afford to sign Vlahovic just because they want to get rid of Joshua Zirkzee and Juventus are offering a swap deal. On top of that, Manchester United need to remember, guys, I don't know if you lot remember when we signed Joshua Zirkzee, with a higher price of his release clause, not a lot, but a couple million more, so that it would allow Manchester United to pay his transfer fee over 3 years. So Man United need to keep that in mind as well. They need to keep in mind the financial implications of maybe doing a swap deal rather than a straight transfer, because it will have PSR implications for them. Because if I'm saying randomly, I'm saying 40 million across 3 years, 5 years, however many years, that might not be a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, but it will add up. It will add up. So they need to make the right decision when it comes to getting rid of Joshua Zirkzee if they genuinely want to. But in my opinion, they shouldn't sign Vlahovic just because they really want to get Joshua Zirkzee out the door. And I want to bring up quickly what Amorim actually said. Exactly what I want to bring up word for word what he said about Joshua Zirkzee after the game yesterday, and we're going to talk about the game as well. He said, "I want to keep Josh because he gives everything. He's training, but we don't know. The window is open. We will see what happens." For me, that does not sound like somebody who really wants to keep a player. And there's no fault in that. At the end of the day, I think the manager will have some say in who goes and who stays. But I don't think he will have a complete say in who comes in, etc., etc. Now, him saying the window is open, we'll see what happens. The only reason why I'm saying that doesn't sound like he's backing him is because if you genuinely want a player to stay, or he's a part of your project, you would say he's basically untouchable, right? That's what you would allude to. But the manager hasn't done that. And I feel like the manager can see so many issues in the team, especially with the way that United set up under Ruben Amorim. And he's probably realizing Joshua Zirkzee is the last thing that United need right now. Right now, United need a striker that's going to run the channels, get in behind, not wrestle with play. The amount of times I saw Rasmus Højlund drop yesterday, guys, I know it was slippery as well. So I'm actually going to give him the benefit of the doubt, because it was slippery yesterday, because I saw quite a few plays. But I saw him dropping sometimes before he even managed to find his feet. He's already on the floor. It's just very unusual. It's just very, very unusual. But quickly, just to ask you guys, Victor Osimhen or Dusan Vlahovic, who are we taking if United have the option of the two, which it does seem like they do. It does seem like they do have the option of the two strikers. We're only 6 days into January, so we still got a good 3.5 weeks or so of the transfer window. I'm actually hoping United bring in a player in the next 10 days, personally. I'm hoping that they bring in a player in the next 10 days. It might not be likely, but I just hope so, because if United can bring in a striker, Gyökeres wasn't an option though. I don't see Gyökeres joining in January. There's been absolutely zero talk about that. But what I want to know, and I'm curious to know, if United sign a striker in January, does that mean they are not going to sign a striker in the summer? That's what I want to know. Because if that's the case, United need to sign the best option for the project or for the manager, for the team. Don't just sign Osan because he's available. Don't just sign Vlahovic because, you know, Juventus are offering him in a swap. Don't do a signing just because. If United are not going to go out and sign another striker in the summer, you have to get this absolutely spot on. Because Manchester United, how many strikers has it been, guys? How many strikers has it been? It's been Højlund, it's been Zirkzee, it's been Weghorst, and that's just over the last couple of years. It has to be the right one. Vlahovic on loan, test him out. If he fails, go get Gyökeres in the summer. I don't think it will be Vlahovic on loan, just because. The reason why I don't think it is just because Fabrizio Romano is reporting that Juventus, Manchester United are not accepting a straight loan for Joshua Zirkzee. So it does sound like they want him on a, you know, they want to sell him on a permanent basis. So that will mean that it's either they offer Vlahovic plus cash, or it's just a straight swap, or cash. I don't know. I feel like United need money. United definitely need to get money. Osimhen will not be available for Europa. I think no point signing him. Ruth says, I think let's give Zirkzee a chance like any other player. I mean, he just joined a few months ago, and I don't know why people want him gone when we have the likes of Anthony, Rashford eating free money. I have no idea about any of these players. So whoever we get, I hope they are given a fair chance. I feel like both of them, in comparison to maybe when United signed Rasmus Højlund, I feel like they are a lot more seasoned professionals than maybe what United brought when they brought a player like Rasmus Højlund. So that is definitely one plus. These are experienced players. I mean, Osimhen has won the title with Napoli not that long ago. I think people forget that it was not that long ago that he won a title with Napoli. And Vlahovic has won quite a few titles as well. He's won. He hasn't won league cups, but he's won quite a few cups. So I don't know. We can't compare league cups and titles, league titles. But you don't get what I'm saying. They want to get rid of him just because of his astronomical wages. Every other player at Juve makes under 150k a week. I did kind of point this out, and that's why I can't really buy the idea of a swap. That is one of the reasons, that I can't buy the idea of a swap. The other reason why I can't buy the idea of a swap is because also I just don't see United, who are so stretched for PSR and for FFP. I just can't see them doing a swap deal like this for a situation where they know that they need money. Like, United are broke. Well, not broke. Ineos are moving like they're broke. So clearly the transfer strategy, I feel like in this window, will definitely be about bringing in money. And Ruben Amorim has kind of alluded to it in his previous press conferences, where he said, you know, Manchester United need to sell to buy. So, you know, we can't talk about transfers without talking about, you know, selling people. And that's probably the most key point. Another name that's just popped up, guys. This name has just popped up again. Now, this is coming from a French media source that suggests that there are multiple clubs interested in Salahs Message. Manchester United is included in it, and Juventus are included, AC Milan, RB Leipzig, Aston Villa, and Monaco. That is a random combination of teams, guys. Manchester United and Villa, Juve and Milan, Leipzig and Monaco. That is the most randomest combination of 6 teams, if I'm being honest. I've said this time and time again. I liked him at Frankfurt. I don't like him anymore. I liked him at Frankfurt, but I do not like him anymore. And I'm not saying that because he's a bad player. But I've been he's had a very uninspiring campaign at PSG, guys. He's had a very underwhelming career whilst being at PSG. And I'm going to take it back to you guys. A couple of seasons ago, when United were buying Rasmus Højlund, The Athletic reported that Erik ten Hag met with Kolo Muani in the London Manchester United office before they decided to sign Højlund. I don't know what happened in that interview, but United ended up signing Højlund. So clearly Erik Ten Hag didn't like what he had. But then again, Erik Ten Hag, he doesn't really have the greatest rep when it comes to transfers. But on this one, me and Ten Hag, we can agree on this one. We can absolutely agree on this one. I don't think he's an out and out 9. And I don't think Manchester United need that right now. We need a top quality striker, not someone on the same level as Højlund. Bring Osimhen and Vlahovic or someone like that. I hear it. I'm okay with Kolo Muani on loan. I'm not okay with it. PSG. Oh my God, is that the real transfer market? No, that can't be the real transfer market. You're pulling my leg. Let me go to your channel. Oh, it is. Shout out to Transfer Market, because you know, every time I'm researching for going on TV or streams or anything, or I need stats, I need data, I got Transfer Market open right now. So shout out to Transfer Market. Tottenham are in for him as well. Tottenham makes sense for a destination for him. If it as a replacement for Son, because Son is available. If Son is going to be a free agent in the summer, and if he does leave, I can see imagine a front line with Kolo Muani coming off the left, which I think is his more natural kind of position. I feel like I prefer him more there. Rasmus should go before Zirkzee. Damn, that's harsh. That's harsh. And last, but definitely not least, definitely not least, it's the real transfer market. We must be doing something right if awesome creators like you are using our data. Is Mina starstruck? I am starstruck. Clearly, I am starstruck. I'm thinking, why is the Transfer Market subscribed to little old me? Shout out to Transfer Market. But last but not least, before we actually get into Anfield talk, you know, this one always pains me to talk about, guys. You know, it always pains me to talk about Marcus Rashford. Was not part of the team for Anfield. I feel like we're getting used to now seeing a Manchester United without Marcus Rashford. I mean, that's like, what, the 5th game that he's missed? But DiMarzio was reporting yesterday night that AC Milan are very alert to Marcus Rashford's situation. The conditions of the move would have to be a loan deal, with Man United participating significantly in to contribute to his salary. Other clubs have also made moves for Marcus Rashford. Now, I've said this time and time again. Obviously, it's very clear. We've seen the last of Marcus. I don't think we are going to see Marcus Rashford in a Manchester United shirt on the pitch again. I don't think we're going to see that. On top of that, if Man United do let him go in this window, I highly doubt it will be on a permanent move, because for Man United are reportedly looking at 40 million plus for him. So starting fee of 40 million. That plus his 350k salary is not something that you're going to shift in a January transfer window. When a lot of clubs, we're already like 5. I know we're only 6 days into January, guys, but I've barely seen any news of any really team making a move for players. Like January transfer windows, they don't really garner as much. They don't gather as much kind of what's the word? Transfer moves like maybe the summer window does, especially because the summer window is over a longer period. It's 2.5 months or so. January tends to be a lot more quieter than summer. So I don't see United, if they even try to sell him on a permanent, get anything near the 40 million valuation that they want because of his salary as well. AC Milan would be a good destination unless they're selling Rafael Leao in the summer, or they want to test out the idea of having Marcus Rashford in the team. I'm looking at AC Milan's team, and I know that they've got what's his name? Captain America. What's his name? The LeBron James of soccer. I forgot what his name is. Christian Pulisic. I know they got Christian Pulisic. They got Morata up front. I do not see Marcus Rashford playing in the 9. The only way I can see him going there is if he's playing off of the left, which Rafael Leao is out right now. He's out injured until the end of the month, I think, or February. They've got a little 18, 19-year-old kid playing at left wing. But I could see Marcus Rashford in a team like AC Milan. But for me, Manchester United will have to. I don't know. I don't know even if a loan option is the best for him, because I feel like a loan just kind of drags out the inevitable of what we're waiting for, which essentially is for his full departure. And then we have to wait until summer, and then we have to go through a whole nother saga. And I'm going to have to sit here every day on the Daily Dose of Mina and talk about Rashford leaving United. And then eventually he will be leaving. But I just feel like it's just, like rip the Band-Aid off kind of thing. It's coming. Just do it and just get it over and done with it. And that's why I would prefer for him to sell him. I prefer for United to sell him rather than send him out on loan. But like I said, we have definitely 100% seen the end of Marcus Rashford at Manchester United. I don't see him sniffing a minute on the pitch. Not against Rangers, not against anybody, not against Southampton, not against Arsenal, not against anyone. I feel like a contract termination might be on the cards for Rashi. What is to say he agrees to leave? I think he wants to leave. I think Rashford wants to leave because he said it in his interview, that the explosive interview that he did with Henry Winter. He said, I want a new challenge, and when it comes to it, I'm gonna, write a message to the fans and basically explain. So I definitely think he wants to leave. At the end of the day, you could be earning a lot of money, but the longer he stays at Manchester United, the more the media pylon is going to be, the more the public scrutiny is going to be, the more, he's going to be the topic of discussion all the time in the press conferences. People are going to keep asking about him. They're going to be asking the manager. Look at when players go to other leagues. Look at, and there isn't, I can't really say there's players like Marcus Rashford who have gone to other leagues and kind of disappeared. But I do feel like Marcus Rashford, if he goes to the Italian league or he goes to the French league, the English media will have a lot less to say about him, because out of sight, out of mind, number one. Number two, it's less kind of accessible. And also there's a big core of English players that have gone to the Italian league. Look at AC Milan has Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I know they're trying to get rid of Tomori as well. You got Scott McTominay. He's not English, but he played with Marcus Rashford as well. There are players that do leave England and go over to Italy. Rashi is our top scorer this season. That says more about United than I think it says about Rashford. Because yes, he hasn't played for 5 games, but in the Premier League, 2 of those goals came in 1 game. And this is me talking as the biggest Rashford fan. The club will not terminate his contract. That's bad business. We'll only pay him to accept a move. What I think is the options for the club is to, they will have to cover some of his wages. They're going to have to pay him out of some of his contract, because if he goes to AC Milan today, hypothetically speaking, on a permanent deal, but he's accepting, they're only offering him 150k a week. United have to cover the difference of the number of years left in his contract at United and the difference in that 150 and however much he makes at Man United. And we saw it with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Reportedly 2 summers ago, that was a problem that United had with Harry Maguire and West Ham, that they couldn't really come to an agreement in terms of the wage difference. So it's definitely something that they're going to. Man United will have to dip into their pockets, basically, to get Marcus Rashford out of the door. It's inevitable. And that's what happens, I think, when you give a player a big contract of that value, of that number of years, without any real plan in place for the club or for the team and the team that you're trying to assemble. Now, it was actually reported by The Athletic, and they did a big kind of piece on Marcus Rashford a couple of days ago, so I encourage you lot to check it out. But it was said that when Bruno Fernandez signed his kind of bumped up contract, and when Marcus Rashford signed his new deal, both of them were promised that Man United would bring in world-class players to get them back to a level of competing. And I feel like, yes, Marcus Rashford got the better end of the stick because he got a 350k deal out of it. But I can also imagine that how it looks to him, maybe, or how it feels to him, that fans look at him thinking, you're just here for the money. But we don't know the whole context of what happened behind that contract situation and why he actually ended up staying. I remember that summer, if you don't remember, he was linked to bare teams. He was linked to quite a lot of teams. One thing I would have liked to see, I'm not going to lie, the way that Arsenal and Arteta dealt with Aubameyang, right? I remember in the moment I'm thinking, wow, Arteta has absolutely taken the piss out of Aubameyang. But I remember watching the All or Nothing documentary and I thought, you know what? Arteta is in his right kind of state to do what he did. And Aubameyang was one of their higher earners. I don't agree with what happened with Ozil at Arsenal, but with Aubameyang, I was like, you know what, I get it. I don't ever see United, unfortunately, terminating someone's contract. I just don't think United have the balls to do it. I'm not gonna lie, United are not a ruthless team, so they definitely will not do it to him, let alone anyone else. They're not gonna do it quotation marks to one of their own, if that makes sense. But listen, guys, let's get the likes up if we can. Let's get the likes up if we can. I'm doing back to back streams today, guys. Literally for like 4 hours straight, I'm streaming. So if you do not hit the like button, by the way, not 4 hours straight on here, but different platforms. So if you don't hit the like button here, you guys are a disgrace. You are an absolute... I'm joking, you're not a disgrace, but please do hit the like button. It really helps with the algorithm. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel, the ever-growing channel. If you want to support the channel in alternative ways, you can by sending in questions, sending in your opinions via super chat. You can do it just by clicking on the top and sending a super chat, and it helps me reach my goal for the stream. Now, actually, let's move away from transfer talk, transfer rumors, and let's talk about yesterday's game. Because going into the game, I feel like everyone was down in the dumps. I remember waking up on Sunday morning, and everyone was begging for the game to get cancelled. So that was a weird feeling for me because I don't know. I didn't feel like United would get battered. I don't know what it is, but I just felt like since last season, it's like United are always up for it after Liverpool, against Liverpool, sorry, except earlier this season. Now, Man United also having about two big training sessions with the manager. I think that helped as well. But Ruben Amorim said something after the game, guys. And I totally agree with him. I totally agree with him. He was pissed. If you lot watched his interview with Sky Sports after, he looked angry. You would have thought after a 2-2 draw at Anfield that he would at least smile. But he said, I think, what everybody was thinking. How can you guys play like this today when we've just lost 3 games in a row? Some of them at home. Some of them to lower-sided teams. I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say that verbatim, but it was along those lines. And I totally agree. Because one thing about United is that you can count on United to draw to Liverpool at Anfield and then lose next week to Southampton. Like, it could easily happen. It could easily happen. Mentality. That's what the manager referenced. That was his biggest referencing point. Mentality is an issue with the players this season. And not just this season, actually. For a long time, mentality has been an issue. Man United will come up against maybe the bigger teams, the more dominant teams, and try and go toe-to-toe consistently throughout the game, whether it works out or not. They'll come up against mid-table teams or maybe slightly better teams or maybe teams that are actually worse than them and roll over. And that is what I feel like kind of annoyed me a lot more about the game. Man United could have easily won, I think. I actually think United could have absolutely won comfortably. Because I also don't think Liverpool had quite a few chances. You can see it here. They had quite a few chances. But I feel like as United started to gain momentum in the game, especially after that Ahmad equalizer, I feel like United could have scored. Like, we should have won. We should have won. Him being angry was a perfect reaction. I agree. I totally agree. Also, not the first time the player said that we can only see if there will be real changes. True. We should have buried them. Anger portrays mentality. Players know now there's something there. They just need to show it more. I'm not going to lie. I'm still not convinced on some players. The jury, for me, is still out on some players. But let's look at this here. Man United's entire kind of... Whoa. I wasn't meant to zoom in that much, guys. Sorry if that hurt your eyes. Shout out to the Athletic because they stay giving us some good graphics. Man United's entire play went through the left-hand side. And this is why I said it was tactical. This was tactical from Ruben Amorim. You target Trent. You target, unfortunately, the weakest player in the back line, which for me is Trent. Even if United had targeted Robertson I wouldn't have been mad because I think Robertson has not been like Robertson has been poor for them this season. He's not been that great. But United saw a moment or an opportunity against Trent. And also, can I say, look at how deep the midfield is. Ugarte is the deepest man here. This entire kind of area, Gravenberch was there. Curtis Jones was there, who I completely forgot was playing. McAllister, I think he had a good game as well. I think Gravenberch had a good game, and I think they made it a little bit tough in the first half for Kobbie Mainoo and Ugarte. But as the game kind of went on, Man United realised we can't overload the middle. A three-man midfield is always going to outnumber a two-man midfield. Let's go wide and basically take advantage of Trent Alexander-Arnold. And that's exactly what they've done. Van Dijk looked like he wanted to kill him. Virgil van Dijk looked pissed when he had to come over. I think he made a slide tackle challenge on Garnacho because he just kind of fell asleep. Trent fell asleep. And it was happening quite a bit. 1v1, Dalot. I saw Diogo Dalot, guys. Let me bring up Diogo Dalot on here. I saw Diogo Dalot twisting up Trent. You know, I don't think I've ever seen that. I genuinely do not think I've ever seen Dalot cook a man like that. Do I have a picture of him? No, I don't. Let me find a picture of him. Because here you go. Yeah, he for me, he was much better yesterday. And like I said, you give credit where credit's due. You definitely give credit where credit is due. He hasn't had the best of seasons, but in a game like this, I'm just going to say one thing. It's nice to see this today or yesterday. It's nice to see this, but I need to see it consistently. One of the reasons the strategy worked was also this was Konate's first match back. I feel like they rushed him back for this game because who was playing there before? I think it was Kwanzaa. I think Kwanzaa was playing there most recently. Apparently there was a bust up in the pool dressing room after the game. Listen, I don't know if you lot saw what Mohamed Salah posted today. Yeah, they've got a problem. Liverpool have a big problem in their team right now. This is what Salah posted today, guys. Look at what Salah posted. No caption, nothing. Just him, Trent, Van Dijk standing over a free kick and Van Dijk in the background. Obviously, these are the three players that are, could leave in the summer. He's basically forcing, I would say, no, I don't want to say forcing, but he's forcing the hand of the Liverpool ownership. And this, after posting this after a draw to United, is crazy. It's crazy. I kind of enjoy it though. I'm kind of enjoying this. And you know what? It would be so funny, guys. I'm sorry if you're a Liverpool fan and you're watching this, yeah. But it would be so funny if all three of them leave. Like, because I've always said I see Salah maybe staying, maybe Van Dijk staying as well. But if all three of them leave Liverpool, it will be hilarious. The meltdown in the fan base will be so fun to see. I really hope that happens. I really hope that happens. He's putting out a message, subliminal shots. Yeah, it's subliminal, but it's gonna get it. The way that I see it, yeah, it doesn't help that every time he does an interview, people are like, journalists are asking him about the contract situation, and he's not really beating around the bush. He's being straight up. It's like footballers sometimes will be like, yeah, we're in discussion, that's like, let's keep out. He's telling them straight up, no, I haven't received no offer, no this, no that. Like he's and I've seen some people that I know a few Liverpool fans, and they're not happy with the way that it's playing out, like in the public eye kind of thing, which is totally understandable. I get that. But for me, posting that after the game yesterday, where you didn't even have your best performance, is wild. But anyways, enough about that. I don't think anyone asked me for my opinion on Salah's contract situation. Manuel Ugarte, man. A lot of people disrespected Ugarte. I remember people calling him Ufate, people saying he was a waste of 50 million. I had my reservations about Ugarte in Ten Hag's system, but I think when Ruben Amorim was announced to be the new Man United coach, I felt a lot more comfortable in Ugarte because I've watched Ugarte at Sporting. I watched him at PSG. I didn't like him at PSG. So in a one-man midfield which he struggled with in PSG. I feel like he struggled with it under Ten Hag, the little number of games that he got. It wasn't really a great showing. But for me, Ugarte is the kind of player, the only way I can sum him up, he reminds me a little bit like, he just wants to get the ball back. Like, he just wants to chase the ball. He just wants to run. He doesn't want to do the lavish passes, the box-to-box carries. He doesn't want to do any of that. He just wants to, when he sees the opponent with the ball, he just wants to hunt them down. And you need that in your midfield. I saw criticisms about his passing abilities and, he's not really that great on the ball. And you don't have to be great on the ball when this is what you offer. His job is essentially to get the ball back and pass it to someone more able than him. That's it. I'm not asking you to ping a pass like Scholes or Carrick. I'm not asking you to ping a pass like Pirlo or Iniesta. You just win the ball back and give it to someone else. That's it. That is simple as that. And yesterday, this guy was a lion. He was an absolute dog in the midfield. And it's not just, I don't think this is the first time we've seen it, but in a two-man midfield, because I feel like as the game went on, Kobe and Ugarte definitely grew into it in the middle. I feel like at first, they were a bit, what's the word? Sloppy on the ball, in possession, losing duels. But as the game went on, they definitely grew into it. And like I said, a three-man midfield and a two-man midfield, it's not always going to be a fair battle. They're always going to have one more player than you. But Ugarte is genuinely, I feel like sometimes he's two players. Like yesterday, I genuinely feel like he was two players. He was here and there every single time. I'm like, how are you on there when you were there 2 seconds ago? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Ugarte plays like he hates when other team has the ball and shows non-stop determination. I think he said that in an interview. He said, when the opponent has the ball, we go to war. I go to war. He said, I go to war. And then I win the ball back. I genuinely feel like, and I think this particular picture was when him and Jota, and I think Licha were like all squaring up to each other. But he's a beast, bro. Like, that's the only way I can describe him. And he might have, like I said, his deficiencies. Maybe he's not as great of a passer as you would want a maybe deep-lying player to be. But he does the basics very well. He gets the ball, gives it to Kobe, gets the ball, gives it to Bruno, gets the ball, gives it to Licha. I remember when he joined and I thought him and Licha, that is just pure hot-headedness in that kind of deeper line. But it's also composure and it's also a lot of grit and fight. Because United ain't had that for a long time. United have not had that. Big up to Tag with the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. It says, Amorim is cooking. Nothing changed but the confidence. Even eliminating silly mistakes that killed us for the last few games. We need a striker, though. I agree. We definitely need a striker. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. If you don't want to get your questions or comments or thoughts in, you can send in super chats as well. Just on that point, though, from Tag about confidence. Yesterday's game, I feel like people were a lot better on the ball. I feel like people were a lot better on the ball. And I have to, you know what? I wasn't going to speak about him, but I'm doing an injustice to yesterday's game if I don't talk about him. Let me see if I can find a picture of him in action, because why not? This guy yesterday. Okay, wait, no, wrong picture. This guy yesterday, wow. If you play like that all the time, my friend, criticism will be less and less. The Wolves will not be out to get you if you play like that more and more. By the way, for so long, I've been hearing about, and we've been having these conversations about how Bruno doesn't step up at Anfield. He doesn't. Like, since he's joined Manchester United, I don't think he's had a great game at Anfield. But yesterday was probably his best away performance, I think, at a top 6 that I've seen since he joined Manchester United. I saw something yesterday in Bruno Fernandez that I don't think I saw in a long time from him. And particularly, I'm speaking about when he had the ball, guys. For example, the Wolves game. I remember after the Wolves game, speaking about the idea of Bruno just being a very weak player, like he gets barged up. Yesterday, it's like he was unbargeable. Like suddenly, it's like I don't know what it was, but and also he was keeping the ball at a closer kind of range when he was in physical duels, because he's like, you know what? If I'm going to get barged, I'm going to stand my ground, but also keep the ball closer to me. And the goal in particular that Leacher scores, guys, watch it. Watch it back and see what Bruno does, how he kind of wriggles through two players and plays like the half reverse pass in to Leacher to find him. To even remember that that's where Leacher was shows that he's paying attention. But I don't know how people watched yesterday's game and weren't impressed with Bruno Fernandez's performance. For me, he should have been man of the match. I think Salah actually got man of the match, but he was easily, for me, the best player on the pitch. He was easily the best player on the pitch. Now, there are, when you look at it, by the way, stats, I'm going to say, when you look at stats or data, it's not necessarily, I don't think it showcases the actual game, because looking at the stats, guys, he had a, what's that, 7 out of 20 pass accuracy, accurate long balls and long crosses. He was 3 for 10 for accurate crosses, and he was 4 for 10 for long ball passes. But this is the stat to me that I care about. He got dispossessed 0 times yesterday. 0 times dispossessed. I'm so used to seeing that number being 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0. As in, no one could get the ball off him. He wasn't really successful with his tackles, but he had 8 recoveries, 7 defensive actions, and he put in his shift, like I said, in the defensive side. In terms of duels, he won 11 duels and he only lost 2. And he won both of his aerial duels. That's something I don't even see Man United strikers doing. But he won all his duels, only committed 1 foul. One thing I liked about him as well, outside of the data and the stats and all of that kind of stuff, is that he wasn't annoying. Like, you know what I mean, guys? He was not annoying on the pitch. He wasn't moaning at the ref. He wasn't moaning at players. He was just playing football. Just playing football. And if you can do it at Anfield, I need you to do it against Southampton. I need you to do it against Fulham. I need you to do it against Ipswich. All the games upcoming, we could say this is a captain's performance, but it's not. A captain's performance is when you do it consistently, or at least on a regular basis. Then I can be like, this is a captain's performance. I will watch now on the weekend. United go to the Emirates against Arsenal. I need you to step up again. We play Southampton. I need you to step up again. You need to play like this consistently and regularly, because I feel like the more players that play the way that they did at Anfield, the easier it will be for United to get out of this slump that they're in, because we are in a slump. Let me see what else you guys are saying in the chat. You know why? Because he rested. We needed quality in squad depth. I mean, he only rested because he was suspended. Like, that's it. It's not like Amorim chose to rest him. Amorim did not choose to rest him. Amorim completed the update to the Bruno wear version 2.0. I won't get my hopes up. Let's not do revisionism on Bruno. He had a good second half. It's his best performance in the shirt. I can't lie, but he's still in arrears, man. I agree. No, but this is the thing. We can acknowledge, guys. Yeah, this is what I hate about like football. As football fans, we're so fickle, guys, because yes, we can acknowledge if someone had a good game, but we can also acknowledge that that doesn't change maybe like the opinion. I'm seeing people saying, oh, you wanted Bruno sold. Hold that. Okay, because of one game. Why are fans so obsessed with always being one up on each other? That's what I don't understand. These players, for me, not just Bruno, everyone still has something to prove. For me, everybody still has something to prove. But Bruno, we can acknowledge that yesterday was a phenomenal performance from him, and you need it. I think we need it on a more regular, 100%. We need it on a regular basis, because you're the captain. And if you're the captain, I need you to step up all the time. There's one guy, though, I don't like him as a right-sided centre-back. Let me finish my sentence. I do not want Matthias de Ligt as a right-sided centre-back. I don't think he's got the qualities. And I did a whole breakdown of it, guys, on my most recent video. Am I going to be shameless and put it in the chat? I absolutely will do that. But I did a whole breakdown of that, of why I think Matthias de Ligt struggles as the right-sided centre-back compared to what Leacher offers. So make sure you lot check it out after the stream. But essentially, I don't think he's quick enough. The way that Amorim wants the kind of wide centre backs to step out, I don't think he's quick enough. You look at Leacher. Leacher's very aggressive. Like Leacher doesn't double think it, and sometimes it can put United in a sticky situation. But yesterday in particular, I don't know if you lot saw, but Kobe would drop into that position between Maguire and Dalot. When De Ligt does it, he does it very hesitant and slow. So by the time he eventually gets out, there's a huge hole that Ugarte can't fill because he's been so slow in his reaction. Then he's slow to get back. I like him in central centre back. I can't lie. Lenny Yoro, I know he's come back from injury. I know he's young. You know, they're kind of they don't want to shoehorn him in straight away. They're easing him into the team. But I like Lenny Yoro at right side of centre back. That recovery sprint from Yoro, ridiculous to get back in a counter attack. He was one of the furthest forward players. For him to get back in 9 seconds or under 9 seconds and make a last ditch tackle, I promise you guys, if that was De Ligt, that would be a penalty. Like, I genuinely think if that was De Ligt, that would be a penalty. Now, both goals United concede come as a result, I think, of something of involvement from De Ligt. The first one, I think, is just stand up. There was no need to go to the ground. I feel like Gakpo was going to come onto his right foot, and, you know, defenders should know they do their homework on you know, the opponent and the forwards. You also play together in the national team. You know Gakpo is going to come onto his right foot and have a shot. The handball is just crazy. Like, I don't know why your hand's in the air like that. And you know what? I don't know if you lot saw, but De Ligt actually, he like accepted his fate before it even went to VAR. Like he was what's the word? Like he just froze for like 2 seconds. You are trying to start a narrative against De Ligt now. Apparently, if you point out stuff, it's a narrative. This is why we can never have critical analysis. Yeah? This is why we can never have critical analysis, because if you point out flaws, apparently it's a narrative. Anyways, whatever. I remember when United actually brought Lenny Yoro and De Ligt in the summer, and I remember me and KG had this debate, and I said to KG, Yoro is going to be the starter for United. De Ligt is going to be a squad player, and he wasn't having it. But we'll revisit this next season, maybe. I don't see Yoro being pushed into the lineup consistently now, but I liked what I saw. And I just think with De Ligt, I like him in the central position. I feel like it's a lot less demanding, especially in the wide channels where you got Mazraoui as a wing back it's supporting you. But the wingers are going to come in, and they're not going to be easy to be up against. They're not going to be easy. Luckily for him, there are like a couple of good left wingers in the league. So if he plays right-sided centre back, he won't struggle too tough. But I think yesterday's problems was huge. Was huge for De Ligt. But it could also just be down to one of those games. Like he can come out on the weekend against Arsenal and boss it. Like it literally, football is just like that. And just quickly, guys, before we wrap it up, yeah. Here we got 2 England players. I remember when Kobbie Mainoo went to the Euros and Liverpool players were saying Curtis Jones was better than Kobbie. Can I say I didn't even know Curtis Jones was on the pitch until he came off. I didn't even know he was on the pitch until he came off. Kobbie showed Curtis Jones. They're not even age mates, by the way. He's 4 years his senior. They're not even age mates, but people like to act like they're age mates. So we'll take it. But Kobbie Mainoo showed him levels. Now, Kobbie didn't have the greatest of starts. I don't think the first 20 minutes was amazing. Especially on the ball. Gravenberch spun him a few times. But as the game went on, we saw the Kobbie that we seen last season, which is the Kobbie that we have not seen over the last couple of months. We have not seen that. We have not seen this kind of Kobbie Mainoo. And it's so nice and refreshing to see it. Again, hopefully we get to see it on a consistent basis. Also, I think he came on against Newcastle, but he played about 60 or so minutes. But it was a great performance from Kobbie. Like I said, it took him a bit of time to grow into it, but once he grew into it, it was one of the better performances. To do it at Anfield as well, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Kobe versus Gravenberch is always interesting. Decent match of football. Nuruddin, I hope you're doing well. Big up to Nuruddin. Kobe versus Gravenberch, it was a good matchup. Gravenberch, I feel like, is a lot more. He's taller than him. He's better on the ball than him. Like, I do think he's better on the ball. And because he's taller, he's just like he's elongated. I don't even know if that's a word. He's just longer. His legs are longer. His limbs are longer. He was easily doing little turns and twists on Kobe. But like I said, as the game went on, I feel like Kobe grew into it, which was like that's all you want. That's really all you want from your players. But listen, guys, we're less than 13 away from 100 likes, so make sure you guys hit the like button on your way out. We've got a lot of content coming over the week. It's been a very interesting weekend for me, guys. It's been a very interesting weekend. But big up to everyone that sent me a message, everyone that checked in with me, called me, texted me, etc., etc. Much appreciated for the love. But what do we have coming in terms of content? We got a special video dropping tomorrow with a United creator, so make sure you guys check that out when it does drop. We'll have the daily dose of Minute as well throughout the week. Build up to the Arsenal game as well. And yeah, just everyday content. I'm trying to drop a video or do a stream every single day throughout the year. And we hit 10k, which is one of the benefits. The goal is to hit 20k in the year, so hopefully we will be able to do that. But listen, guys, hit the like button on your way out and don't go anywhere, because we will be on the Straight Jacket podcast straight after this, and then straight after that it will be the red carpet, literally back to back streams. So I hope to catch a lot of you guys on some of those streams. You lot know what to do. Hit the like button on your way out. I hope you have a great one. I'm out, guys. Peace.